There's a very big chance that you, the awesome person that's watching this video, are a self-taught guitar player. And there's an even bigger chance that you're currently making some pretty bad mistakes that really stand in the way of getting better fast. This is how you might imagine a typical guitar progress curve. You obviously start your journey at the bottom with zero skills and knowledge, but then you gradually move to the top over the years. And once you put in your 10,000 hours, you're officially a professional guitarist and you can finally play everything that you ever dreamed about. When in reality, it actually looks something like this. You constantly encounter obstacles with both your technique and theory skills, and as a self-taught player, you're often looking for the completely wrong solutions for these big problems. This results in a very frustrating and not exactly enjoyable journey, and you're often making all of this way harder for yourself than it actually has to be. But all this ends today because you clicked on the right video. And to make all of this much harder for me and definitely more entertaining for you, I will attempt the impossible in this video. I will try to draw a horse from memory without looking at any pictures, and we're gonna check out if I got it right by the end of this video. So to start things off, a very big mistake that I keep seeing is actually a quite deep misunderstanding of what the term guitar technique actually means and why it's so important. No, guitar technique doesn't just mean playing fast, and no, guitar technique is also not just an umbrella term for many different individual techniques like alternate picking, sweep picking, tapping, or any other specific guitar technique. It's much more about how seemingly small details with your picking motion or with your fretting hand technique make a huge difference when it comes to the positive outcome and progress on your guitar journey. To give you the ability to test yourself right now, I want you to play this following exercise to see where you're currently at with your guitar technique skills. So this is a seemingly simple exercise, but surprisingly quite a lot of players really struggle with this one. The reason for that is that a lot of guitar players develop a one-sided picking escape movement preference. If you are subscribed and part of our YouTube guitar community for a while now, you know that your pick has to escape from in between the strings and then jump over other strings in order to play advanced licks. And that exact pick escape movement, so away from that place in between your strings, is what might have tripped you up when you were playing this exercise. Because the twist with this workout is that you have to escape in both directions in order to play it. Early in our guitar journey, one of these movements, so either escaping from in between the strings with an upstroke or with a downstroke motion, comes easier for us than the other. As a self-taught player, that might be because of how you taught yourself to hold the pick, or because of the licks, music and players you've been studying so far. Either way, down the line, a lot of self-taught players tend to stick to just one of these motions with their own licks and music. And that's not only creatively limiting, of course you will also run into some really big problems as soon as you have to learn and play material that requires the other approach that you're not exactly familiar with for a job or for a gig. So my personal suggestion for your practice routine is always including at least a couple of workouts that deal with both pick escape movements, like this one for example. Started off kind of promising, but it's going in a really bad direction. I can't really figure out how the legs work. I can't remember. Do they bend in this direction? It looks like a human leg, so it doesn't look right. So since we're already talking about exercises, the actual choice and selection of daily workouts is also often less than optimal with self-taught players. This is something I see every single day in the Patreon VIP Facebook group where I'm coaching my awesome Patreon community. Of course, aspiring shredders are always drawn to the chromatic workouts, to the kind of unmusical speed drills. And that's perfectly okay. It's the same with me, of course, and I love working on this every single day to push myself even more. But take a guess right now what's actually missing from pretty much every single student routine I ever looked at. That's right, practical music theory. So with the following exercise, I would like to offer a compromise. This one that I'm working on right now in my practice routine is actually amazing for your alternate picking and for your sweep picking, but there is actually also a really cool and useful music theory twist. You're playing the arpeggios on all scale degrees of the C major scale, quite similar to what I showed you last week when we talked about fretboard visualization. In case you missed it, make sure to subscribe right now, or you will just keep missing possibly life-changing guitar tips like that, just saying. So back to the exercise, you start out with a B diminished arpeggio. So you're actually starting out with the arpeggio on the 7th scale degree of the C major scale, and then you move backwards until you reach C major. And in addition to these really cool and useful sweep picking arpeggios, you're also alternate picking through all the 7 modes. So you're always starting out with the root note of each mode on the high E string, and you're also ending with the root note on the A string. So yes, this one is a bit tricky, but trust me, sinking your teeth into this advanced workout is 100% worth it. With just one workout, you improve on your alternate picking, sweep picking, and also fretboard visualization skills. And that's what I like to call working smarter and not harder. As always, I made much slower exercise play-along videos, backing tracks, tabs, and guitar profiles, especially for you on patreon.com/Bernd. So make sure to get all your practice files for your next routine and join our really awesome, super friendly, and progress-driven guitar community on Patreon right now if you're serious about your guitar progress. The next topic is about what I like to call
single note domination.
This is something that self-taught rock and metal guitar players are especially guilty of, since we're all about the shredding and the riffs, of course, but not so much about the beautiful chords and ballads. So with most practice routines of self-taught players in this genre, you don't really see chords or strumming exercises in there at all. I was one of these players as well, and when I actually scored my very first big pop/rock gig, I was actually quite shocked by how hard it was to play simple strumming patterns perfectly to a click in a live or studio environment. Admit it together with me, we all spend so much time on the fast, crazy and virtuosic stuff in our practice routines, but if we are completely honest, a lot of us really struggle with the basic fundamentals of guitar playing because we never actively worked on building or at least maintaining those basic skills. So if you're guilty of
single note domination
in your practice routine, my suggestion is at least including some funk patterns in your workouts with rhythmic dead note patterns across multiple strings. Not only is this great for your timing, it's also very beneficial for unlocking your wrist motion for fast picking, because you can't really play these patterns like that. You have to really loosen up and use your wrist like that in order to play material like this. Check out the really awesome three-dimensional effect that I got by shading the legs like this. So it basically looks like a big blob on human legs. So up next, a really popular question I get almost every single day on Patreon. Should you practice with distortion or with a clean sound in your daily routine? The reason why this is actually quite confusing for self-taught players is that a lot of distortion seemingly hides mistakes or simply covers them up a bit. But the thing is, you actually often can't hear unwanted noise resulting from a sloppy fretting hand technique with a clean sound, because as you know, distortion greatly amplifies this problem. So what I can really recommend and what I do myself every single day when it comes to working on rock and metal guitar technique is working with a sound similar to this one. It's very transparent and dry. You can hear all the important details and also the tiny inconsistencies and mistakes, of course, as you're practicing. There's no reverb, delay or compression on my practice sound, but it's also a bit closer to the practical application in my playing and music than just the clean sound. In case you would like to hear and study this kind of naked and quite unforgiving sound in a practical situation, I highly recommend checking out my single Orbitoclast on Spotify. This one is a lot of fun because it showcases how some of the crazy metal techniques actually sound like without any distortion. So if you enjoy it and if you're a guitar nerd just like me, make sure to follow me on Spotify. The link is in the description. Okay, I'm honestly trying not to make this look creepy, but it looks like a skull right away. Looks like a pig's nose as well. I don't know, how does the nose work? And the last and possibly most important input I'd like to share today that especially concerns self-taught players is all about the difference between playing at home and actually playing live. If you're not out there on stage yet on a regular basis, I'm sure you want to get there at some point. And there are two big issues that are not really talked about that much, especially about self-taught players: posture and body tension. So if your practice posture is completely different from your live playing posture, you might also get completely different results sound-wise, and that's probably not what you're going for.
made a mistake.
Having my guitar in this exact position actually allows me to easily prepare at home for these concerts, because I can have my guitar on a strap just like this when I'm sitting down. So it's essentially almost the exact same feeling when I'm sitting down and practicing and then later standing up and playing on stage. And the second tip I would like to add is all about tension and pressure when you're playing live. When you encounter a bit of stage fright or anxiety before public performances, you often tend to tense up and grip the neck way harder than usual. And I personally got much better results as a live performer when I learned to detach, and by focusing on not tensing up with both of my hands, really letting go, staying relaxed, and also by focusing on not rushing and maybe even playing a little bit laid back. So when you have to perform in front of other people next time, take a deep breath, make your movements much more relaxed and efficient, and I guarantee you will be much happier with your performance. Check out my masterpiece. What do you think? As expected, it looks way too creepy. I have no idea how the head of a horse actually works, and it always ends up looking like a skull when I draw something. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call him Herbert. And of course, when you sign something, it always looks much more professional right away. So there you have it, a beautiful, majestic horse drawn from memory. Please let me know in the comments what I should draw next. Alright my friends, it's time to start practicing, so make sure to get all your files for this video below on Patreon. I will hopefully see you again in the next video. Once again, the YouTube algorithm says this one is a great choice, in case you would like to keep watching. So have tons of fun practicing. See you soon. Greetings from Vienna. Bye bye.